I do want to thank everyone for joining today's masterclass, and I'm putting on today the ABCs of Technology Partner Management. I'm excited to share with you what Unanet has focused on as repeatable enablement processes to scale our program. My name is Rachel Collie. I'm the Director of Technology Partnerships here at Unanet. I'll give you a bit of background as to what that is as we go forward. Hopefully you'll soon see the complexity of my role and how repeatable processes like the ones that we use for our children has really enabled me to keep some of my sanity. So what we're going to cover today, I hope to tell you a story with a beginning, a middle, and a continuation, the challenges we face, our solution, and how we continue to expand out this program here at Unanet. Please ask questions throughout. I'll try to bring the chat up periodically through this presentation, but please don't feel you need to wait till the end. I want to make this a bit conversational as I can, so I think we can really learn from each other. So please continue to put your comments in chat, any questions you have, or any suggestions you have for others that are trying to scale some programs as they go forward. So just a little bit about me, the work stuff. So I've been managing technology partner programs for about 10 years, tech partners for the last 5. I often say that I've been managing technology partnerships before APIs were even a thing, and integrations were simply Excel and CSV-based files. I've led programs through transformational change, perpetual to subscription licensing. If you've ever done that before, you know how painful that process can be. I found my joy and passion though in tech partnerships. Unanet is a CRM and an ERP platform. If my CFO husband was sitting here today, he'd say, Rachel always says ERP and accounting is boring, and I do think that. But our partners are building some really cool stuff that I find very exciting because they're helping our customers find new solutions to problems they're trying to solve. And I find all that piece and how products work back and forth very exciting. I'm also a solo mom, which has put a mind shift in how I operate from a business perspective. I'm always open to telling people my story, so please reach out to me on LinkedIn, or you can look at a LinkedIn post I put up in early September of last year. So I'm a solo mom to an amazing little girl named Elsa. She's named after a movie, just not that movie, who's completely active, social, daredevil, 3.5-year-old. I love books, especially historical fiction, and forever an Iowa State Cyclone. So go Clones. Elsa is amazing and really thrives on structure, much like our technology partnerships, as I create that thread right there. Partners are building really amazing solutions who need structure where they are going and what they're doing when partnering. And I look at the structures and schedules we put in place for our children. I imagine that same thought process around structures and schedules could be used for technology partnerships as well. And just like parents, technology partner professionals, we often have to figure out or build our tools all on our own. So who is Unanet? What is this company that you've probably never heard of before? So Unanet is 3 products under one umbrella, and that right there creates a whole new complexity to my problem of being a tech partner professional in this space. We are 3 distinct products. We're about 3,800 customers, adding 400 new customers per year, either by acquisition or by organic growth. And we should hit about the $100 million ARR mark sometime this year. Again, 3 products. First product is Unanet GovCon. This is a project-based ERP for federal government contractors. Our customers don't build the battleships. They do all the service work and maintenance work on battleships, or supply drones based in Ukraine, or doing IT cybersecurity for federal government. Their time and labor against a project will be their #1 invoice category. Our third product is Unanet AE ERP. This is a project-based ERP for architects and engineers. Think design, commissioning, surveying, et cetera. Typically no construction. Our customers using this product don't build anything, they design everything. And then Unanet CRM is an acquisition we made about 3 years ago. This is a purpose-built CRM for the construction industry. This is out-of-the-box functionality with configuration versus customization, as you'd see in Salesforce. So this is a CRM that's built from the ground floor specifically for general contractors, anywhere between $10 million all the way up to some of the biggest construction companies on the globe use our CRM product. The reason I want to tell you this story tell you this information as a part of the story is that these are 3 distinct products, very distinct verticals, different code bases, varying API maturity models, and varying needs for integrations. So now imagine how quickly this will scale from a partnership volume if each product has 3 integration verticals to target, and you need 3 to 4 target companies within each vertical to get one to become a partner. This scales very, very quickly and becomes very problematic. What is our strategy for technology partners? And I'm giving you all this background so that I can really help set the stage for what our problem became here at Unanet as we continue to expand out and continue to grow. So our strategy and why the volume matters and how do we manage this mess? So the first strategy we have, our first pillar for us, is we want to fill the gaps. We want to find technology partnerships that enable us to have functionality that we are never going to build on our own. The best example of that is payroll. When you're in the world of ERP, payroll integrations become table stakes. And so we have to integrate with everybody, but we are never going to build this functionality ourselves because of the complexity and the compliance around payroll. 2, we're looking at things that are interesting, tip of the spear, interesting and unique, that could really delight our customers and could be very interesting use case in the market. CRM and workforce planning is a really great example for us in this space. And what I mean by that is we have a partner named Bridget Bench that is a workforce planning tool. How do you project out labor, especially in the construction market? And how do you use your CRM pipeline to project out labor requirements based on your projected close of opportunities for next year, 2 years, and 3 years? And this has become a great delighter for our joint customers. We're trying to manage labor and manage hiring in this very tight market. And then customer retention. Sorry. We have so many joint customers, we would be silly not to have an integration with that company. For our CRM product, an integration to a company called Procore, which is project management, that is key for us because we have so many joint customers trying to use data back and forth. We would just be silly not to have this integration in place. All of that leads to increased revenue. A little background about Connect and about our integrations before I move into what our problem is. So we launched our Connect marketplace in July of 2020. About the same time, most companies were trying to figure out in the small mid-cap space that they needed to have a marketplace, just like a Salesforce or a Microsoft have a marketplace. We have 70 integrations that are either active or in development, supporting 40 different partners. And the reason why that number is not a one-for-one match is for a couple of reasons. One is we have some partners that integrate into multiple product lines within Unanet. Payroll is a good example of that. We've got 2 ERPs. Payroll needs to integrate to both. Also, we have some integrations that are between our product lines and not to an outside party. 80% of the integrations to date are Unanet built. We do use an iPass called Workato. If anybody wants to hear about an iPass, I could do a whole presentation just on iPasses. And our focus for this year is moving into partner-led integrations. And this means more partnerships. All right, so our problem. So what was a problem? It's something we hear about all the time, especially if you're in the partner space. You need to get more work done with limited resources. How do you do all that? And why is that a problem? So for Unanet, I am a team of 1. So think about all those partners that are being managed and technology partners that are being managed here at Unanet. I am a team of 1 and a conduit to everything. When the word connect, which is our marketing term for integrations, or integration is used at Unanet, everyone comes to me. How do I set up a sandbox? Who do I call for this? Where do I find X? I become the bottleneck and the source for all, internally and externally. Sometimes that is a good position to be in because information, being the information keeper, is valuable, but I do become a bottleneck to product, to finance, technical services, sales and customer success, marketing and product marketing and support. All of these entities are all coming to me across 3 different product lines, asking their questions. The usual internal systems like Salesforce wouldn't work to be a great conduit for us. As a product team, as an example, does not have access to Salesforce, either due to licensing cost and or there's just really no need for them to have access to Salesforce. So it becomes a problem. And also for a little bit of perspective, I also report directly to our Chief Product Officer. But this is a reporting line that comes with unique challenges, especially when you're reporting into a C-suite, because there's extra layers of reporting that must happen when you report into a C-suite. So problem 1, way too much information for one person to do. And just remember how many partners and potential partners I am managing. If you look at my total partner portfolio, how many that are active with contracts in place, and then add in anything that's in the evaluation criteria, I'm sitting at about 75 today. As many partner professionals, I'm sure that some of these screenshots look very familiar to you. As a partner professional, I was managing my work life in spreadsheets and OneNote. And as you can imagine, with 75 partners, companies I'm trying to manage, this became unmanageable very, very quickly. There was no way to distribute information. There was no way to assign tasks. There was no way to report to stakeholders to know when things were complete or in flight. There's so many problems using OneNote. And then when you add in Excel for tracking the quantity and the counts, that became even a greater mess. Reporting in this structure became my greatest downfall because I did not, as I'll show you as I'll explain in just a moment, I didn't have an executive buy-in because I wasn't able to show them any reports. So the three big rock challenges I had: one, no partner visibility. Partners couldn't see what was happening within our partner program. They couldn't see what the next steps were in the process to be either evaluation or onboarding or enablement. There was no ability for me to scale this program if I was using OneNote and spreadsheets. And there was no executive buy-in. Our executives did not know what our tech partner program was doing, kind of in a vacuum or a silo, to be able to process quality information, quality results for them to be able to show internally to a board as well. Okay. So for me, I titled this slide, Monday.com to the rescue. As we go through these next few slides, please don't think that our solution was one size fits all. We happen to use Monday.com, and I'll kind of give you an overview as to why we chose Monday.com, but I very easily could have replaced this with any other project management tool. We just happened to select on Monday.com, and I'll show you in a minute why we did that and why that is beneficial for us. So if I were sitting there watching this presentation, the first thing I'd be asking myself is, did you even consider a PRM, a partner relationship management tool? The simple answer is no. A wider answer is we didn't have a budget. Surprise, surprise. As we started this initiative. So a PRM for us, from a simple perspective as no budget, that was immediately out the window for us. But as we started digging deeper into a PRM and what we needed to be successful, evaluation of potential technology partners and onboarding were key categories for us that we needed to solve for. And PRMs today, they're getting better, but PRMs today are typically great for referral partners, passing leads and opportunities, distribution of marketing assets, and marketplace management. They are not a good fit for evaluation, onboarding, and enablement. Things I needed to manage this very quickly growing program. Now, I will say in the last few months, I have seen some PRMs come out with these evaluation, onboarding, enablement tool sets, but not enough for us to pull the trigger and start putting a PRM into our budget forecast for 2024. I think the biggest thing for us, though, is that we were not ready for a full marketplace management tool. All right. So why Monday.com? Again, Monday.com may not be the right solution for you, but it was the right solution for me. And being a team of one, my manager told me to find the best solution for me with no budget. So why did we pick Monday.com? Biggest reason is that Monday.com was already used internally by our project management team. All of our consultants, all of our implementation team, they all use Monday.com. So I had a ready-made group of subject matter experts who could really help me understand this tool. So if you are not a Monday.com fan or Monday.com user, I would encourage you to check with your internal resources and see what tools are being used that you can maybe piggyback off of, where a licensing agreement is already in place, legal has already been reviewed, it's a product that's already known and being used internally. The other great thing about Monday.com is that it allows for read-only licensing. So I have an edit license, I have an admin license, but if I want to share my Monday.com boards with my partners so they have a bit more visibility, Monday.com also allows for read-only licensing. So I can share this data, share these boards I'm about to show you. I can share those with others. I can also assign tasks. So when I look at Monday.com, not every task is something I do. I just have to make sure it gets done. So Monday.com allows me to assign the resource, i.e. I need a sandbox created. I can assign that to the right person and just track to make sure that that task gets completed in a timely fashion. It also has really great integrations to Slack to notify you when changes have been made to a board. And it also has some reporting capabilities. So with Monday.com, and I'll show you some screenshots in just a moment. The question is, how is the adoption of Monday.com with your other partners? Any major wins or challenges? I'll get into some wins later. Challenge is that with Monday.com, just with any other tool, it's one more thing that people have to log into. So we tended to use Monday.com for partners that we were just kicking off. We did launch these boards about a year ago. So for partners that were established within our portfolio, We tend to not to have them as active in Monday.com. We use this more for our new partners where there's a lot more tasks assigned and a lot more steps in the process. Just to show you a few screenshots, and then I'll jump in and be able to show you some real examples of what we're doing with Monday.com and how it works for us. Within Monday.com and within most project management boards, you're able to put together, within most project management software packages, you're able to put together templates, boards, things that are repetitive, things that you can copy and paste, things I couldn't do in OneNote. So what I put together was two very distinct templates. One template if we were building the integration, and a template if the partner was building the integration. These templates at the beginning and the ends are very similar. It's the stuff in the middle that's very different based on who is building the integration, right? For a partner, they need access to sandboxes. They need access to API keys. They need access to a whole host of things. Unanet, they need access to a whole different slew of things of getting information from the partner. So beginning and end for both these templates are very similar. It's the middle section that deals with actually building out the integration that's very different. Also within these templates, I can house pieces of information that I will need repetitively as I build out, as I add more partners to the mix. I can also break everything down into stages, and then we can drag and drop, woohoo, as I need to. Things that cannot be done in things like OneNote and spreadsheets. So everything that I do is done in stages, and I put examples of the stages up here. Please don't think that we do stages in consecutive order. Within our stages, what I love about Monday is that it doesn't go consecutively. You can do things in parallel. So as your dev team is working on the integration, your marketing team can start working on the things that we need to enable this go to market and get in front of our sales team. And that's really what I love about Monday, is that enables me to go back and forth, do things in parallel and not do things in consecutive order. And then the best thing that I love about Monday.com is it allows me to put together reports for executive teams. It allows them to see partners by vertical. And by vertical, I mean the vertical in which the partner sits. It also allows me to show them exactly how many partners we have by product line. Within my responsibility queue, referrals are not a part of my responsibility. Revenue is not a part of my responsibility. That sits with our partner success team that manages all referral, reseller, implementation partners. So anything that has revenue attached to it, any agreement we have in place with a partner that has revenue attached to it, i.e. opportunities and deals, sits with another team. So I want to make that distinction too, as I probably see some questions coming about that topic as well. But Monday.com allows me to do a lot of reporting that I'm not able to do in any other mechanism. Again, by vertical, by products, and I can show you different ways that you can do reporting through Monday.com. So what I'm bringing up on the screen now is just my view of Monday.com. This is my edit view. I can go in and make changes anytime I want to. What I'm showing you right now is a partner build template. And I also have a we build template, meaning that we are building the integration here at Unanet. What I love about Monday.com is that I can move things around as needed. Put that back in the right order. I can drag things around. I can mark things as started, working on it, stuck, whatever it happens to be. I can also start assigning tasks if I want to. I'm going to assign the person right here that it needs to go to. And I can copy and paste this. What I can also do is create new boards from here. And this is one of my favorite things about Monday, is that I can take this board. Hope it doesn't take too long. And I can duplicate it. And I can duplicate that board. So let's just duplicate it. Okay, I can duplicate it, and then I can move it to wherever it needs to be in my queue of partners that I'm building, and gives me an easy, trackable way to track partners. Within these boards, let me go back to the top one. Within these boards, I also have things that are very focused on who needs to view it. I give a partnership overview, so that if I ever need to quickly pull information for an executive, for a sales team, I've got it all sitting right here. And then it starts going through all of those steps that we as technology partner professionals know that we need to do or need to get done to be successful, whether it be points of contact, which I know can be in Salesforce. But as I mentioned before, not everyone internally at Unanet has access to Salesforce. So I needed to give everyone one place, especially our product and support team, one place to go to figure out who is the right support contact at Open Asset, because I know they're on this call today. Who is the right support contact for ADP if we have a payroll, if we have a payroll issue. And then we start going through the evaluation and onboarding. Have we done all the demos? Have we done a solution discussion? Have we identified lighthouse customers? And this is a really important thing for us because at one point in time, we would partner with everybody and not really taking a look at what was the uptick in our market. So now we've really started evaluating it as a step in our process. If a partner is coming to us, they must identify 2 or 3 lighthouse customers that we have in common that are already asking for this integration. We'll still do account mapping. We do cross-being for account mapping, but we want to know that there's actual customers asking for this integration. Is there some uptick in there, or there's some need in the market for us to actually start building this integration to do the work? We start looking at any conflicting or overlapping functionality that is core to us. If the partner's core functionality is in distinct competition with something that's core to us, we will likely not pursue that partnership. If their core functionality is something that's very minor to us, then we will likely pursue it, especially if it has no revenue issue attached to it, if there's no revenue reduction that could be attached to that. And then we start looking at tactical things. How do we build this integration? And please don't let the volume of tasks be like, whoa, that's a lot. These are just the tasks that we know, no matter how small or how big, that we know as technology partner professionals need to be completed as partners are bringing on board, as you're evaluating them, as you're onboarding them, and as you're enabling them within your sales and marketing space. Then obviously enablement, support, again, all of those pieces are important. And I have the same thing built out for the we build, just a little bit different in the middle sections, because what our dev team needs is a bit different than what the partner's dev team needs. I want to show you a couple of examples of what some of these boards look like as we've completed them. So let's go into FlowTrack. So FlowTrack is an inventory partner that we use for GovCon for customers that are tracking some sort of consumable inventory as a part of their project with the federal government. As I mentioned earlier, our customers typically don't build things like rockets, but they may assemble things, which is a big distinct difference, like drones that are being sent to Ukraine. So if I go into FlowTrack, this is a chart that I've created specifically for within my template, so that I can see exactly where things sit. So if you remember that big bolt of like 126 whatever tasks, I can see right away, I already have 55 of them done, and all the others are sitting in the stages. I've got 25 that we're still working on, 8 that aren't started. I've got a bunch of notes in there because I do use monday.com as a way for me to house every single note that I take on a partner. That way it's in one central area. Anything that's a do not move, and anything that's stuck. The other great thing about Monday is that I can click in any one of these boxes and I can see exactly what is stuck. So I know what to ping on with FlowTrack. I'm like, look, I'm looking for a short form of collateral that I can put in front of customers, or I'm also looking for a long form of collateral. And all the things that are stuck. And I can start getting into what's being worked on and who's working on it if I need to. Different perspective of one that is just being worked on today. So this is a brand new partner that we are just starting to evaluate, right? And you can tell that we're just evaluating because we don't have very much done yet. We start to see this number get smaller, this number get bigger. As we get more and more into as we start getting more and more into the evaluation, the agreements are signed, and now we're getting into the actual development work of working with this partner. But these charts give me a really great way to report very quickly to executives where this partner sits. I can click into it and see exactly what is working on, or I'm sorry, what's behind, what's stuck, what needs an extra little push. And then from the reporting standpoint, let me show you what this looks like. This looks at every partner I have with them, monday.com, whether they are active, build agreements in place, or we're just going through the evaluation perspective. I can also put in here what priority they are, what product line this goes to, what stage they're in, vertical, which is very messy, I will say, and who is building it. What's great about this is that leads into some reporting that I can do. I can start looking at partners by product line. This is something that is very important to our executive team to understand. Do we have any gaps? For me right now, AE is my biggest gap. I can see that right away by looking at this report that I need to start finding more partners that support AE. I'm doing really well with CRM, doing really well with GovCon, but AE, we're kind of languishing a bit. And then I can start to see all of my verticals. This becomes another important one. We can see that payroll is my biggest one. Market Intel, I've got 5. Those of you who know me well, have heard me speak before on various tech partner topics. I don't ever believe in just having one partner per vertical. I think that is great, especially if they are a market leader and they are a outstanding market leader and they're not going anywhere. But what I have found in my experience is that putting all of your eggs in one basket can be a bit risky and can be a bit scary. So whenever I start seeing one partner, we start when you look for 2 or 3. 3 is about my max that I will go to for any one vertical, but it's really intended to do 2 things: to mitigate my risk, but also giving customers a choice. Payroll is a really great example. If I only had integrations to ADP or Paylocity, my sales team may lose deals because their prospects may integrate to Paychex, Paycom, et cetera. So it's really important for us where it makes sense to really diversify out our technology partner portfolio. Again, that leads to scale and more of them so that I can diversify, mitigate risk, and give my customers more options. And then for that, this is a scary one. I don't tend to choose them, but this shows you all the activities across every single board. If you ever want to give your chief product officer an aha moment and say, this is my workload, put together something like this that tells them exactly what you haven't started yet. It's meant to be a little bit tongue-in-cheek, and what you're working on and what's actually gotten done. But from an executive standpoint, this really is where I spend a lot of my time, and a lot of my meeting time is spent on these 2 graphs. And just like with the other ones, I can click directly into them and tell you who all the partners are for AE and where they sit within our criteria. So what were some identified results as we gone through this? So what has changed? So quality. We have very specific stops in the templates to make sure internal and external stakeholders are bought into a new potential partner before we move forward. And that is not only for integrations that our partners building, but integrations that we are building as well. So we have very specific steps or stops in those templates or breaks in those templates to make sure that we're evaluating and making sure that this is the right partner for us. And in some cases, we say no. And I think people are shocked to know that we do say no to partnerships where we have realized very quickly that either the partner doesn't have the API skill set to be able to build to us because ERPs are very complex to build against, or 2, there are no lighthouse customers, there are no overlaps, and they're simply looking at us as a way to market into our customer base and increase their revenue. There's no mutual benefit back and forth. This also has led to some really productive sync calls. I use this as a guide for partnerships, especially in the early and middle stages of kicking off. For management, before it was really difficult for me to identify the priorities of our management team. And now I know exactly where we sit and what I need to build out more towards. And what I mean by that is in 2023, we have very specific verticals that we want to build out into, where we want to bring in more partners and where we want to be able to attract more partners to build to Unanet. I know what those are now, and I can track against an actual number and track against progress on what we're making with each one of those conversations. I have some trust with the data and knowledge that comes with trust. And what I mean by that is if our executives know what they can see what I'm doing and they know what I'm doing, they trust what I'm doing. They trust that I'm going down the right path. And I think that that becomes really important as we start talking about in this day and age of partnership teams being part of the layoffs that are happening. A lot of that stems from our executives not knowing what we're doing and not knowing the value that we're bringing to the table. Also, because of what we've done with this technology with Monday.com, that's also given me the thumbs up to go after more technology. I know, and I'm realistic, that I know that I will never get another headcount. I should never say never, but it's very unrealistic for me to get another headcount. And the reason for that is because of my reporting line. Because I report into product, if my chief product officer gets headcount approval, it's likely going to go to a developer. And I'm okay with that. I'm fine with that. We need more functionality. We need more technical skill set. What that means for me, though, is that means I can spend more money on technology. So the next things on the table, not just looking at expanding out what we've done with Monday, is that we're also looking at how to expand out our marketplace and actually have a valuable marketplace for listing process for our partners. So that's the next technology roadmap that I've got. So I just want to sum up that as a team of one, the use of Monday.com has really streamlined my processes and enabled me to breathe a bit as I juggle all these different balls, much like the structure and process that I put together to be a better parent to my daughter, Elsa. And so I really appreciate everyone joining today. This has been kind of a labor of love putting together this presentation, but also putting together this whole project that we've done here at Unanet to really bring some scale and success to our environment and to the organization. So I really appreciate you guys all joining. So the question here is, did I work with other teams to build out these templates? I did. Well, I did the work myself to build them out. It really was with a lot of buy-in from other teams within the Unanet organization, product, technical services, support, sales, to make sure that I was covering off everything that they needed to be successful as we looked at new technology partnerships. Because keep in mind two things. One is our team, our sales team members do not sell other products, right? If I look at our partners that we have with payroll, with digital asset management, with workforce planning tools, our sales team do not sell those tools, but we want to make sure that they are enabled to be able to know what those products are, be able to know what those products do at a very high level, so that they can identify potential opportunities for that partner and pass that across, especially for partner built integrations. Same thing with internally built integrations. We want to make sure that our sales team are knowledgeable enough about that receiving partner that they can pass those leads off very efficiently. So please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to answer questions if you didn't want to put them in the chat. So please reach out to me on LinkedIn. Happy to continue the conversation. This really has been a great pleasure speaking to all of you this afternoon, this morning. Happy to be where you are in the world today. But it really was a pleasure to speaking to all of you today, and I appreciate you taking the time and joining this class today. So thank you.